Has anyone seen or heard from Andrew recently with COVID? You know, normally I would sometimes see him at church, but with COVID, I just haven't been in person. So I just didn't know if anyone else had seen him.
No.
Just to say hi.
Okay, we're live.
Okay.
Okay. We'll switch gears then.
Thanks, Debbie. All right. Welcome, everyone. This is the November 16th, 2020 meeting of the Southborough Zoning Board of Appeals. Before we get started, I'll read the Charlie Baker note. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12th, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, General Law 30A, Chapter 18, and the Governor's March 15th, 2020 order imposing strict limitation on the number of people that may gather in one place. This meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Specific information and the general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public and/or parties with a right and/or requirement to attend this meeting can be found on the Town of Southborough's website at www.southboroughtown.com. For this meeting, members of the public who wish to watch or participate in the meeting may do so in the following manner by finding the meeting at www.southborough.com/remote meetings. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so, despite best efforts, we will post on Southborough's website an audio or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive recording of proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. All right, so now that we have that out of the way, the first order of business is the approval of meeting minutes from our meeting dated September 16th, 2020. So I don't know if everybody had an opportunity to, hopefully everybody had an opportunity to review the minutes. Any commentary or discussion on them? Let's see. Let me just take a quick look. So let's see. Participants were myself, Craig, Debbie, Paul. Oh, there's Paul. Mike Robbins. And then Doris and Jamie were there as alternates. So just going around the virtual room. Craig, any comments on the minutes? Any concerns?
No, I'm good on the minutes.
All right. Debbie, any concerns?
No concerns.
Paul. You're going to need to unmute your line first.
I'm good.
You're good. Okay. I think I got that. And Mike?
Set.
Doris, you and Jamie were present. You can't vote on them, but did you notice anything, either one of you?
Nope. No.
Okay.
All set.
All right, then we could take a motion to accept the meeting minutes as written.
So moved.
All right. We have a proposal and seconded.
Second.
There's a second. All in favor of approving the minutes, meeting minutes for as written? I'll go around remotely. Debbie?
Yes.
Yes. Mike?
Yes.
Craig?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
And yes for me. All right, so. Takes me a long time to manipulate around this Microsoft Office environment. Was the next item on the agenda, Katie?
To review the EDC downtown initiative updates.
Okay. All right. Yeah, there's a lot there. So the background to this is driven by the EDC. This is a proposal that would be a change to the zoning bylaws, which would have to go before a town meeting for approval. I am not aware of where anybody stands in review of this as far as the selectmen or the planning board. In the process, Katie, do you know where it is? Has it been reviewed? You said that it had been reviewed by the selectmen. Do you know if the planning board has reviewed it as well?
Yeah, they've had a few joint meetings to talk about feedback from this draft that was made from Ms. Barrett, who's a consultant. So they're going back and forth. I don't think any real decisions have been made, just more concerns about things that they wanted to see or why certain things were put in there, you know, as far as like floor ratio, things like that. But I think the next step is Ms. Barrett's coming November 24th to speak with those boards, and everyone's invited to attend. But there is also a feedback sheet that you guys, anybody can go in and give any concerns or questions to.
Okay. What was the date again that they're going to review it next?
I believe it's the 24th, but I'll double check on that.
All right. All right. So I don't know if anybody feels like they'd like to jump in and give their view of what they may have seen.
Want me to share the document?
Yeah. Why don't you go ahead and do that? Debbie, did you have an opportunity to take a look at it?
Yeah, I did have the opportunity, and I also was copied on one of the one of the forms that had like some compiled comments. Maybe that was going to the selectmen. So quite a few boards have already provided comment. I personally don't have concerns, but I share some questions that some of the other members have. For example, we're looking at bed and breakfast. I think some of the comments around that is it's not really very well defined. Does that mean there is a live-in establishment? Somebody living there? Is it no more than 4? People for how many days? Is it Airbnb? I mean, there are all kinds of questions around, and microbrewery. What are the definitions? So a lot of actually, I don't know where that document is. I had just been copied on it, but to see some of the comments that some of the others on boards have made is I think really very interesting.
I have a copy of that document. Did everybody else get it?
Which document, Doris? The one that Katie's sharing, or?
Well, Debbie's talking about that was circulated a set of comments. I had commented on the bylaw in one of the drafts, and did others comment on it? I did a round of comments, and I think Lisa returned it to us. Esposito.
Yeah, I looked at it, and I saw the form for commenting, but I don't know if I was copied on where all the comments.
I've got Debbie does too, because I've done some comment. Debbie, did you actually do some of the commenting, or you're seeing some of the comments I made and other people made?
Right, I can see others. I have not yet commented. I didn't know whether the we want to discuss any of these proposals and comment as a board, or whether just bring it to the attention of everybody that you can individually comment. So I got copied on the document with the comments, but I haven't made comments yet.
So I'm just curious, Katie, was that distributed to everybody? I'm just curious how Debbie's on the distribution for the comments.
I'm not sure. I didn't see the one that had the comments, but
Yeah.
if Debbie, if you want to send it to me, I can pull it up and share it.
I mean, my view of it is, I think I like the ideas behind it. I think probably Debbie is accurate that you might need a little bit more definition here. And I don't know what their goal is, if they're thinking they're going to be ready for the springtime. It does seem like a lot of sections are pretty well set up, but it may just be that you need better definition on the things that they're talking about that they haven't before. Bed and breakfast, microbrewery. The comment on mixed use, and it's actually part of how it's written out. It's confusing to follow.
Mhm.
Where they say no mixed use. Where is it? I'm just looking for it now. I don't know. Maybe Mike as a lawyer can follow the weird twists and turns there, but oh no, I'm not finding it. Do you know which section I'm talking about, Mike?
Ron, I can't, the document keeps moving.
I'm moving it. Sorry, I'm looking for it too.
I think it's part 3.
I just forwarded you that document. I don't see the original email that I received. I'll forward that when I can find it, but I had it open on my computer, so I just shot it over to you.
I have a question. I don't know if you guys know the answer, but are people applying for a bed and breakfast and a microbrewery? Like, what caused those two to be added? I guess is my question.
Yeah, I think the EDC's been taking comments from the public and doing a number of surveys and things like this. And I think I believe what they're trying to do is incorporate many of the comments that are coming through the people in town who are have a desire to have input into the downtown area. So,
Yeah.
for example, the bakery, the idea of the bakery, we've heard as a board come, and I think that's where the input is coming from, the downtown project.
Oh, yeah, I have answered some of those surveys. I just didn't know if potentially someone had already reached out to the town on those two
I think they're
businesses,
trying
which
to
is
paint with a
why.
pretty broad brush with respect to trying to make that downtown area a little bit more business friendly from a mixed use, and they're just trying to give, from what I understand, give options to business owners to expand and contribute to building a kind of a more cohesive downtown.
Yeah, especially since there's no use variances allowed anymore. Just getting as things that seem popular now and would, that are also similar to what was there. I mean, we used to have the big Southborough Arms or whatever it was called as a hotel and a place to stay in downtown. And I think people are looking to recapture some of that as well.
Man, you'd have to be a townie for a long time to remember that.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe Mr. Cleary,
There's a lot of them out there.
Yeah.
Well, I know. I mean, Don Morris, my next door neighbor, she probably remembers it, but it predates me.
But I think, when we were asked to sit for one of the matters downtown, and there was a lot of discussion about looking at the mixed use, and we realized that like a hotel, was listed as one of the allowable uses, but a bed and breakfast was not. And these different things. I think a lot of people, I mean, I did as well. We looked at it a couple of times and said, is that really correct? And also there's things on there right now, like a coffee shop and things like that, that are just not in use anymore. So I think, it's time to engage people to kind of have input. What I hadn't asked and what I haven't done is a side-by-side comparison of like, what did our bylaws say now for mixed use? And what is the proposal? There's certainly a lot more, in my opinion, of what's been added, but there's some things in here, like for example, 3 stories, and then somebody suggested that 4 stories I think should be allowed. Not as much open space I saw as some are saying. There's a question on what is the there's a definition of a facade. And, you know, there's some good comments on here, actually, from a lot of different people. Doris, yours were very thoughtful, as well as the building inspectors and others who have to, you know, are going to end up with working with this bylaw if it passes.
Yeah, that's the way I kind of interpret it, as when they had that particular building downtown, that they were using a kind of a loophole of a hotel is allowed, but because you technically apartments aren't allowed. And to me, it looks like they're creating a whole new zone in which it will be allowed as long as you have a business on the first floor. So I think it's responding to that. I think it is a good idea.
David, is this what the form that I'm looking at right now? Is this the language you're referring to with respect to mixed use development?
No, I wish I could find it now, but it basically, it was strange in the way it phrased it. It said, it's not allowed. And then there was some language in there that said, you know, and it didn't really read like with some exception. It just seemed to sort of twist itself into knots. I don't know why I can't find it now.
Yeah, I mean, I think mixed use is not well defined.
No.
It's just really confusing.
Well, I mean, I think they're using mixed use to incorporate the residential piece, the apartments. But I mean, mixed use is also like normal office and a vet. That's a mixed use.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, I'm happy with it being more broad in the sense of, you know, if someone wants to have a vet on the ground floor and standard offices above, excellent, you know, like,
Right.
and have that be allowed without a whole lot of gyrations. I think that would be great. But I do think they're trying to not say apartments
Yeah.
really, really hard.
Yeah, and this goes on for pages, so there's been quite a lot of comments. I think, I don't know, Kate, if you want to just flip through, if it's interesting. There were some others. One phrase that popped up is this co-work center. I didn't know what it was, but after I saw a proposal for definition, I knew what it was. We have them in Cambridge, so this arrangement of open office space that allows, you know, people to go in and work from different companies to use the same infrastructure. But that was very creative. We see that in Cambridge a lot.
Well, when it comes to microbrewery, I'd be surprised if that hasn't been defined somehow in the state of Massachusetts. We have them everywhere.
And they reference that. It's section 174.84B14. So I think that's been already flagged and ironed out.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Amy Luttrell comment on the 10% of gross floor area, at least. It's only 10%. That was sort of striking to say that you have to have at least 10%. It'd be surprising that you wouldn't use more.
Well, I think the idea is, you know, every lot's different, you know, and depending on what's on that lot and the parking that's required, you might not have more than, you know, all that much on the first floor.
Right.
So I don't particularly like Sam's comment. I think it was on the previous page where, you know, the residential has to be not more than 50% of the total area. I think that's a bad idea.
Where's that? Is that, oh, that right there in the middle of the page?
Yeah. No more than 50% of the upper floors used for non-residential. Yeah, I just don't, I mean, again, what if you have office and a vet? I mean, that's mixed use and
Yeah.
they keep, it goes back to that same thing, is they're using mixed use to say it has to have a residential component. And if that's what they want, then they need to say mixed use residential development.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're saying mixed use, yeah, or at least in development includes both residential uses primarily on the upper floor, non-residential uses on the ground floor, and some amount on the upper floors. Yeah, I don't know what the motivation is behind that. There'd be some reason why you wouldn't allow non-residential off the ground floor.
Yeah, I think when you start getting into stuff like that, you start handcuffing developers into
Right.
making a building that fits the code, but doesn't necessarily fit what's needed.
The need, yeah.
Oh, you mean like our current bylaws?
No, our current bylaws are purposely meant to handcuff developers. I think this one is trying to unhandcuff them, but doing it in a different way now.
Right. So I think I don't know that it's the best use of our time to try to comb through all the fine points here. I think we can just talk about it generally. Obviously, I think any of us as citizens have the right to review and comment. Given the definition of what the Zoning Board of Appeals does, I don't believe it's our place to take a position on anything here. Zoning code is changed by the town meeting, and, is more under the direction of the planning board. So, if there's nothing more that wants to be discussed here, or if anybody had any questions or things we should try to pursue, and I don't know how long we really need to spend on this, honestly.
Yeah, I guess my question is, what is the EDC asking of us in this process at this point? Are they asking for us to vote on whether or not we support this at some point in time when they're ready to take it to town meeting? Are they, what's the ask at this point?
Nothing's been asked directly to me. I don't know if anything's gone to you, Katie.
No, there's no direct ask right now. Just the discussions are in there. It's an open invitation for
Right.
anyone to discuss and opine. But in
Okay.
the end, I think maybe before it goes to town meeting, they might want you to, but they're in the early stages, it looks like.
Yeah,
They're moving
it
quick.
seems like they still have a ways to go. They have more reviews to go through, things to clean up. So, yeah, I would agree. We're not at a place where, even if it was appropriate for us to, I don't think we're in a position where we could do that.
Yeah, I mean, I think, me personally, I'm all for providing some additional capabilities for people to do stuff.
Yeah, because we're the ones who need to enforce it, so it has to make sense.
Yeah. And I think case in point, Peter Bemis's development, where it's like, we all agree it's the right type of thing, but it's just not technically allowed in a way, shape, or form. And, would we even be involved, or would our jobs be easier if it was clear as to what this allowed?
Yeah.
So,
Jamie, you had something?
No, I was just agreeing that I think it's good that the EDC is looking to update this so that we can get some more options in town. But like David said, seems like they're still at the beginning of the process here.
Well,
the one thing I wasn't clear on as I read through the rest of this thing is the mix between a special permit by us and a special permit by the planning board, depending on what you're asking for. I mean, it should be
I thought
one or
that
the
was
other.
interesting. Yeah.
It's like, I'm trying to find where it was, but
Yeah, there was there's permitted. Oh no, let's see. Uses by special permit from zoning board of appeals. I don't know if that was it.
And then there's
I'm not finding it.
permitted uses by special permit from the planning board are
Right. Yep.
A,
There
B,
it
and
is.
C. And then that's item D. And then E is the uses that are permitted by special permit from the zoning board.
Another part of it that didn't make sense, under the permitted uses by special permit from the planning board, any use listed in subsection B that exceeds maximum floor area ratio of 0.35 or under subsection C exceeding 2,000 square feet. But section C says permitted use is up to a maximum of 3,000 square feet per establishment. Isn't that a conflict?
Yeah, that's a cleanup thing. And,
It's
you know,
just
and then
3,000.
it's, yeah, and then I think it says something about the planning board gives the variance for height. But that's kind of like, right, what we're supposed to do. So,
The thing what struck me about what we would be responsible for is like those are more things that are already things that we might look at today. You know, whereas I think it's almost like they're looking at they want the planning board to look at the newer things that they're adding that aren't in there now.
yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that we have to be the reviewer for it. I'm just saying that it seems really dumb that some things have to go to them and some uses go to them, some uses go to us. It's going to be like, people are going to be very confused through this process.
I would agree.
So it's, you know, one or the other, but it shouldn't be some to us and some to them.
All right. Any other comments, or should we move on in the agenda?
So let's move on.
All right. So Katie's the next item you have the application changes.
Yes.
Okay. This just responds remarkably slowly. Do you have, let's see, what do we have? What's first on the list?
And we can just do the application since that was
Yeah,
pretty straightforward.
okay.
It was basically, I just removed the signature requirement for both the building commissioner and the town clerk, as I felt it was redundant.
Okay.
Everything else stayed the same. That's it.
Okay.
Everyone good with that still?
Yep.
Yep.
Yep, good with that.
And again, all the application changes are the same throughout the appeal, the variance and the special permit, but I did the red line. So I took out any costs, any fees for another document.
Yeah, I looked through this earlier. These all looked fine to me because they're. I think it's helpful because, you know, oh, if prices change or just leave it blank, you know. But at the same time, what do you see on the front lines? Is there anything else that needs to be added or made more streamlined, or, you know, what do residents have challenges with, if any, in getting these forms submitted? Because some people it's really easy and straightforward. Other people, it's like, you know, I know it can be a challenge, and I just want to make sure we're not missing any opportunities to streamline this and make it simpler for both you and the residents.
Yeah, I think this is as straight line as it gets, as far as getting everything in there that we need to explain to people. But it all depends on how experienced people are. If nobody's ever done it or thought about their property or, don't even know what some of these were, which I was in that same boat 2 years ago. So it all depends, but that's what I'm there for. So I think this helps a lot. Just kind of laying it out as to what they are responsible as an applicant and what I am as an admin. And like the fees and things we talk about straight up, that's what everyone wants to know first off anyways, so.
Now, quick thing, like, I know that the decisions need to be recorded, and we leave that typically to the petitioners. With the registries, they would typically mail that in, but those can be filed electronically as well. Does the town offer that, or is the town doing that? I'm just curious.
There is a fee with the Worcester Registry of Deeds too, which is on the applicant. So we normally require them to do it.
Okay.
As far as I know, we always have.
Yeah.
I think it's even easier now with COVID. You just call, they come down, they stamp it, they give it back to you.
Yeah.
But
Who wants to go to Worcester?
Mike. So is what we're looking at here, really, those are the only red line changes from the last time you reviewed, Katie?
yeah, we had a lot of discussion around,
We did.
the current photographs and I think the plot plan.
Yeah, we did talk about that a lot.
Yeah, but otherwise it was pretty straightforward.
Okay. Anybody have any concerns with this particular form?
No, I looked at this just because I try to look through it through a couple different lenses. It kind of, just like Katie said, it kind of is what it is.
Yeah.
We need the petitioners to provide certain things. Some people will just need still always more help in getting those things. That's all.
Right. I think you're right. I think Katie probably is obviously is closest to it. What people miss all the time, or what would help her.
I got a plot plan.
Yeah. Okay.
And Katie, always reach out to me. You've done that before, but if somebody needs something or.
Thank you. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's easy, and I can just connect them with the engineer companies.
All right. Want to move on to? Is there another form here that you're modifying?
Nope. I would need a vote though to change it.
To make that change.
Yep.
Okay.
The chair will make a motion to approve the revised changes to special permit application.
Do we have a second?
Sure, I'll second.
All right, Paul. All right, we have a motion to approve the modified form as written and a second. All in favor, we'll do a roll call. Debbie?
Yes.
Craig?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
And I'm a yes as well. All right. So that was the special permit.
We knocked that out of the park. Let's keep rolling.
Yeah. So that would be all three. If we can.
That'd be all three.
I don't know if you need a motion for each one, or you can do a motion for the other two, which would be the variance and special permit. That was the appeal.
So you modify, yeah, because I when I was looking at them, the language was basically the same. It's just,
Yeah.
So maybe, I don't know, Craig, you want to take a stab at how you would move that?
Yeah, so I think, how did Mike, when you said it, did you say special permit in your first motion?
I said special permit, but what I meant to say was
Let's do it.
We'll record that in the meeting minutes that way, Mike, that you had it right. Don't worry.
Let's do a second vote to approve.
let's get it right.
Appeal
I get it.
variance
Sorry.
application and information.
So we've got the first one done, and let's make a motion to approve the other two changes to the other two forms
As written.
as drafted. Yeah.
And so just to be clear, those other two forms, Katie, are what, the variance and
The appeal.
And the appeal.
Okay.
Yep, it's the same exact changes. Just to make it.
I will second that motion.
Okay. All in favor of endorsing the modifications to the appeal and the variance by roll call? Paul,
Yes.
Craig,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Debbie? And I'm a yes as well.
Yeah. And next up is the proposed meeting dates for next year, 2021.
Yes. Do you want to just share those? That probably would make sense.
Okay, while we're pulling those up, do we have anything coming up?
Yes. Next month we have one sign, special permit for a sign for New York Bagel. They're changing it up from Red Barn Coffee. So they are actually meeting the planning board tonight to get a recommendation for us for next month.
So they have they're looking for a variance on a sign.
Yeah. Yep.
So on the proposed meeting dates, it's basically the third Wednesday of the month,
Yeah.
except for September for some reason.
That's because it was, what was it conflicting with? It was conflicting with, wasn't it conflicting with a Jewish holiday?
Yes.
Okay,
I'm not sure which one.
doesn't matter. Just,
Yeah. Rosh
Wanted to-
Hashanah, Yom Kippur, one of them.
yeah, okay.
So that's, me and Katie, maybe you want to just, is that what they are? They're basically the third Wednesday of each month?
Yeah, that's what I kind of inherited that you guys
Yeah.
have been doing. So that's what I went for here. Just to- If
Well, we
anybody,
We can do that with the right to change if necessary at any given time,
Mhm.
right? We're not,
Yep.
we're not committed to it.
yeah, just like we did here
Yeah.
tonight. So.
Okay.
Yep, it's just to give you an idea to clear your schedule for these days if you could.
We don't need
Okay.
to vote on this, do we though?
No, we don't need to vote on this.
No.
But we do need to make sure the room's reserved for us. That's the other.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, so I'll stay on top of that. I got to do it every 3 months. That's as far in advance as you can go. So
And at this point, we'll go with the assumption that you're reserving a Zoom meeting until further notice.
Until Governor Baker lifts his state of emergency.
Correct. Right. Right now it's hard to see the end of the tunnel, but that's a different subject.
yeah, so this will be posted on our website just to give people an idea of our schedule. But again, it's nothing set in stone. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got the big disclaimer there in asterisks.
yes, double asterisk. So
Okay. All right. So nobody has any concerns with those meeting dates?
Nope.
We won't have that many meetings.
And the last item on the agenda is just to say the next meeting is December 16th. And so Debbie, right now you have one item and that's the sign. Is that it?
that's all we have right now. It looks like there's a few signs coming through. It's a little tricky because it's all, from what I've seen, new businesses that are really just looking to change the facade. But the documents for the original sign, we can't find. So we've been looking,
That's
and if we can
interesting.
find them, we can, decide if they need to come or not. But if we're not finding them, then they're coming to us. So we've been doing a lot of file searching, and unfortunately we couldn't find Red Barns, so they're coming.
So that's just looking for the original permit to see what was allowed. Yeah.
Right. Yep.
We have a water damage in the basement at any time that we lost documents or.
Yeah, there was a fire. Some of these were, it's a mess. Some of these were done in the 90s, and there's a whole cache of them in a program that we can't figure out how to get access to. So,
You gotta love that.
yeah,
When technology
What kind of
comes,
program?
Yeah.
bites you in the behind.
yeah.
I actually had that happen for a building that the company I work for has in Cambridge. It's a 22-story high-rise tower. There is no documentation about it ever being approved.
So as far as the
There's
city of Cambridge is
documentation for
concerned, it
the
doesn't
other
exist.
two 22-story towers being approved, but not the one that my company owns.
It's
Yeah, it
gotta
can be a
good
problem.
feeling. I think it's gotta be a good feeling.
So anyway,
All right.
All right.
Well, we have no other business before the board unless somebody has something new they want to bring up.
Paul, I'm looking at you.
Oh, no, I'm not bringing up anything new, Mike.
No. Paul's favorite motion.
This is Paul.
Mhm.
Flex Paul.
Motion to end the meeting.
Second.
We have a motion to adjourn the meeting in a second. All in favor?
I
Paul?
Yep.
Jamie's yep. Craig? Yep. Mike? Yep. Debbie?
Yep.
Yes. All right. Meeting is adjourned.
Thanksgiving, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Have a nice
Well done.
Thanksgiving.
Bye.
Yeah. Have a good Thanksgiving, everyone.
Stay safe. Be well.
Yep.
See you soon.
All right. Thanks.